All right, so today is Thursday, 22nd of January 2025. We're having our pre-New York session analysis. Now, 2:30 p.m. today, there will be final GDP quarterly unemployment claims and final GDP price index from United States. Also by 4 p.m., there'll be core PCE price index monthly and core PCE price index monthly, both the current month and October data, from the United States. So we're having a lot of event from the US this afternoon, and I will just show you on the charts in a minute how what our expectations will be on this asset. All right, so I'll flip to the charts now to look at our expectations. Yeah, good afternoon, Madam Olagi. Okay, this is the dollar index on the daily, on the 4-hour time frame. Actually, I'm not seeing much clarity on the dollar index. I'll be looking at the USD card for this. Majority of the other dollar pairs are not giving much clarity. So I'll be looking at the USD card. Okay, let me open a fresh page. Now for USD card, on the daily time frame, price closed yesterday as a rejection candle, preferably a doji, and that's at a previous resistance level. So it's a case of resistance on support. Technically, we are looking at a bullish movement on the USD card. Now, if you flip down to the 4-hour time frame, I'm seeing something forming here that looks a lot like an inverse head and shoulder pattern, which may trigger a move to the upside. So let's take it down to 1 hour. Now it's a lot clearer on the 1 hour that we're having an inverse head and shoulder pattern forming, which we expect will trigger a move to the upside. So if the data from the United States by 2 p.m. or 2:30 p.m. rather, if it comes out all good for the dollar, then we expect price to break out to the upside. So we're looking at buying the USD card if the data comes out good for the dollar. Now, if on the other hand, the data comes out bad for the dollar, I would advise to stay out. But if it comes out good, that is actual greater than forecast for all the data, then I look at buying the USD card. So that's my analysis for the news that's upcoming by 2:30 p.m. Now, the other technical setup I'm checking, I would like to show you them now. I'm looking at the AUD card, NZD CHF, and also the NZD card. So let's quickly look at those. Sorry, AUD CHF, not AUD card. Now for AUD CHF, On the weekly time frame, we can see that the overall trend is a downtrend. Price has been trending downwards, touching different levels of lower high up to this point. And we have a case of a support, turned resistance here, and also turning the resistance at this point. So this region here is actually a region of confluence where the trend line, the support on resistance, both of them are meeting at that point. So we now need to go to a lower time frame. Let's check daily. Now today's daily candlestick is forming what is looking like a rejection candle around that, support on resistance zone. But I prefer to look more at the 1 hour. Now the 1 hour we can see, already sign of a potential reversal on AUDCHA. Let me check 15 and 30 minutes too. Okay, let me go to 30. All right. So on the 30 minutes time frame, I'm seeing the formation of a rising wedge pattern. And price currently seems to have broken out, below the lower trend line. So overall, we have a bearish outlook on this instrument. Now, RSI actually has crossed below 50, but it's still so low. It's at 48. I prefer it goes lower than that. And on this one, I'll also wait for my MACD to cross below zero. I think that should be the final decision. So if our MACD crosses below zero with RSI clearly below 50, we are safe to trigger a sell on the AUDCHF. Now, this is expected to happen in the course of today, so I will encourage you to pay a lot of attention to this particular instrument. And it's possible there may be some retracement before that final breakout. That's equally a possibility. But overall, I maintain a bearish outlook. And the price may go as low as about 16 pips to Fibonacci 38.2, about 30 pips to Fibonacci 50, and as much as about, let's just say roughly 40 pips to Fibonacci 61.8. So between 15 to 40 pips is expected a bearish movement on this instrument in the course of today. So let's pay attention to it. Now, the next one is NZDCHF, and that one, I will look at it more on the 4-hour time frame. That is more of a swing. So that tells you that both NZDCHF and AEDCHF, most of the time, they are always positively correlated, as in going in the same direction most of the time. So for the NZDCHF, again, we go to the weekly time frame to get clarity on the trend. You can see the overall trend is equally bearish, and price also hits a resistance. So if you want to extend it, it actually can also be a support turn resistance, supports, resistance, resistance. Technically, we should be looking at a downtrend, all things being equal, except if some fundamental, comes up to change that direction. Overall, we look at a bearish movement. Now, price is currently trading at the tip of that resistance, but also touching the trend line. So we still maintain that overall bearish outlook. Now, on the 4-hour time frame for this one, I can see a rising wedge pattern. So if you are a swing trader, this might be more applicable for you compared to the AEDCHF. So price is ranging around that confluence point where the trend line and the resistance met. So technically, we're expecting a move to the downside. And after a breakout to the downside, it's possible for a retest and a further breakout, below that rising wedge pattern. So we have a bearish outlook also on the NZDCHF. Now, peradventure you want to trade it as a day trader, it's still possible. Let me go down to 15 minutes. It's not so sharp on 15. Let's go to 30. It's still not so sharp on 30, but on 30 minutes time frame, I'm seeing a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder, which may trigger the move to the downside, while we take note of this region as a neckline. So if price breaks out below the neckline region, below this region, and RSI cross below 50, and possibly MACD below zero, on what time frame is this? On 30 minutes time frame, you can trigger a sell on NZDCHF. That is if you are a day trader. Otherwise, if you are a swing trader, you may just wait for the 4-hour setup. So I'm bearish on both the AUD and the NZD AUD on 1 hour for intraday, NZD on 4 hour for swing, and 30 minutes for intraday time frame. And finally, I'll look at the Euro AUD. I think it's NZD AUD. Okay, Euro NZD. All right. For the Euro NZD, on the weekly time frame, price is in an overall uptrend, forming a set of higher lows. Now, to this point, technically, we should be looking at an upside movement. On the daily, we have a resistance from support, making a confluence to form at this point where the trend line meets the resistance from support. So we're still looking for a bullish breakout. The 1 hour is also clear, so we'll go down to 30 minutes. So on 30 minutes time frame, we have a falling wedge pattern, which should trigger a breakout to the upside. RSI should be clearly above 50. MACD should cross above 0. So we're bullish on the Euro NZD on 30 minutes time frame. This could trigger in the course of today if there's sufficient volatility in the market. And the movement of Fibonacci 38.2 can give as much as about 33 pips. Fibonacci 50 can give as much as 60 pips. And Fibonacci 61.8 can give as much as about 89 pips. All right, that'll be all from my end this morning. Recap, we analyzed the AUD and we are bearish on the 1 hour. NZD we're bearish on 30 minutes and 4 hour. And the Euro NZD, we're bullish on the 30 minutes time frame. And for those who join us late, we also analyze the USD card, and we say that that's the instrument we are looking for to trade the dollar by 2:30 p.m. There are about 3 to 4 events on the dollar this afternoon. If the data comes out good for the United States dollar, they can look at buying the USD card. If it comes out bad, please stay out. We're only looking for the data coming out good. So that'll be all from my end. If you have any question, you can go ahead and type it in the comment section, and I'll respond to you. All right, so while we're waiting for questions, don't forget, if you don't have an account with PU Prime, you can go ahead and register an account, trade an account, verify it, and most importantly, fund the account. February is around the corner. We'll be going live for NFP, first Friday in February. You don't want to miss it. We had NFP this month. We had CPI this month. Both came out good. Though the data for I think it was the NFP was not as strong as expected, but the CPI covered, and it was quite good. No, the NFP was good, it was the CPI rather, but the volatility wasn't much. Even though it's still at a profit, but the volatility wasn't too much. We expect better movement in the market by February, so plan to be a part of our live trading session. Okay, so in the absence of any question, we're going to end this analysis. Gold. All right. And if you happen to live around Abuja or Lagos, don't forget to make it to any of our offices at these 2 locations for physical training. All right, for gold, I've been saying it for quite some time, trade gold at your own risk. Gold is fundamental driven at this time. I said it yesterday. Yeah, it's been trending up, but you don't know when it's going to reverse. I've had people crying when the thing reversed yesterday. If you have the heart to carry the risk, oh well, it's fundamental that's really driving gold. Yes, by the virtue of the fundamental, we expect it to trend up. But the question is, you always don't know when it's going to reverse, and that reversal or maybe retracement will actually, depending on your point of entry, will actually lead to some losses. But if you have enough liquidity to carry it, why not? I mean, life itself is a risk, and trading also has its own measure of risk. Now, if you want to buy gold, you have to wait for it to break above this resistance. So if there's a breakout above this resistance, I really don't see any major reversal in view now, because Donald Trump has not backed down from the talk of acquiring Greenland. So as long as that talk is on, gold will keep flying. But like I said, it will not keep flying. There'll be retracements in between. Like, there was a major move to the upside here, then it dropped. So if you entered around here, then you might have, hit some. If you didn't close on time, might have made some losses. But if you still want to buy, let price break out above the resistance and possibly retest for a continuation. So that's my view on gold. All right, that's the only question.
You, sir.
You're welcome.
Very good. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
sir. Have a nice day.
You too. All right, that'll be all for now. Take care. Trade safe. Bye.